Hey everyone, welcome back to the Break Vape podcast, episode 29. I am your host, Tami Ernst. We have some new listeners from Malaysia. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I hope that everyone is getting tons of value from this show. I have a question for you guys, my friends from all over the world. Why do you vape? One of the things that we do very often together on this podcast is get as curious as possible about our vaping habits from a non-judgmental place. And most of us who have vaped for a very long time, we don't really know exactly why we still vape. We just know that we want to quit and that quitting is hard. Last week, we talked about our conscious and our subconscious minds and how for most of us, vaping is a habit that is buried in our subconscious brain on autopilot. So understanding how your vulnerable human brain works in regard to addiction is so cool to study because you can analyze why you're vaping in the first place from a neutral place to get information about your habits. When I do this with clients, we quickly learn that vaping is always the symptom of a larger systemic problem in their lives. And I guarantee you that is 100% accurate for you as well, my friend. For me, vaping was at first for fun, and then when the fun wore off, I thought that I would keep doing it because it helped with stress and anxiety. And as you guys know, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, vaping actually causes stress and anxiety. So it 100% causes stress, not helps with it. So then I had to get to the root cause of my own unique reason for vaping. And just like pulling back an onion, there were layers and layers of components like stress, anxiety, trauma, social norms, family history, etc. Last week, I had you guys consider how vaping shows up in your life in 4 specific areas, which were health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and make sure that you listen to episode 28 right after you're done listening to this one, okay? And make sure that you follow the prompts and do the work. Now, I want you to envision that you have a garden, a big, beautiful patch of grass. And for each section, you have a different category, right? And they're not touching each other. They're not contiguous. So you have one section in one corner of your garden. You have 4 corners. So they're all spread out. Each of these categories are their own section that we just mentioned. So we have a section for health, one for wealth, one for relationships, and one for spirituality. And again, none of the sections are touching or even close to each other. Then one day, a weed shows up in your health section, and before you know it, the same weed is sprouting in all the other sections as well. And every time you tug at it and rip it out of the ground, it just grows back. So how in the world did the same weed get from one side of your garden clear across the lawn to the other sections where none of them are even close to each other? Well, if we take a shovel and start to dig underneath the weed, you will see its roots. And you'll see that the roots are a lot stronger and powerfully connected than you ever imagined. When you pull on that root, you see that it has grown underneath the surface of your garden and has showed up in every other section. So you might be thinking, okay, Tami, great, but what does gardening have to do with my vaping? Well, here is how I like to answer that question. So the weed itself is the symptom of vaping. Vaping shows up in every area of your life because it is the symptom of a larger systemic problem. When I say systemic, I just mean something that's all over. The root of the weed represents the systemic problem. No matter how many times you rip the weed out, you will not be able to permanently expel it from your garden until you find the root and deal with it. So what is the root? The root is addiction. And guess what the shovel is? The shovel is your own mind and the power that you have to dig into your mind and emotions to get to the root cause of your vaping addiction. The shovel is a tool. Your beautiful human brain is a tool. I challenge you guys to dig into each section of your life's garden and try to figure out why you are vaping in the first place. I bet you will find a multitude of reasons why you vape that range from trauma to social pressure to stress and to even feeling worthless at times. And then think of all of these components as the vitamins or the ingredients that make up your addiction root. Each and every one of you guys listening have your own unique circumstances, experiences, and personalities that make up your addiction root, and you are all 100% worthy of living a vape-free life. Let's get to the root cause of why you are vaping in the first place and deal with that. Because again, vaping is simply the symptom of a larger systemic problem that you are experiencing in your life. And when we get to the root of that problem, the symptom of vaping will go away. And guess what? Other symptoms that you have in life will improve as well, in every other area of your life. It's not just going to be vaping. Vaping is just the symptom of a bigger problem at hand. So grab a shovel, turn on your brain, and let's get you on the other side of this addiction today. I have the knowledge, the tools, the experience, and the heart to help you if you will give yourself a chance to work with me. Okay, so send an email to hello@breakvapes.com. That's hello@breakvapes.com. And I will explain exactly how my coaching program works so that you can be living a vape-free life in under 4 weeks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.